The basic premise recalls Captain Phillips' movie released in 2013, where Tom Hanks fended off Somalian pirates on a large commercial ship. Intriguingly, Rajat Kapoor, who plays the imperiled captain in Lootere, isn't our dramatic entry point into the story. Instead, the series finds its protagonist, if he can be called that, in the unlikely figure of Vikrant, Vivek Gomber, a lumpish businessman of Indian origin based in Mogadishu, Somalia. From the start, Vikrant's fortunes are on the slide. His trading empire, which he inherited in marriage, is collapsing, and he is tipped to lose his presidency of the city's port. A cargo ship, inbound from Ukraine and bearing precious contraband, appears to be the answer to his prayers. Soon, though, it becomes a nightmare, as pirates besiege the Indian-owned vessel and divert it towards Haradhir, some 300 miles from Mogadishu. The pursuit and subsequent capture of the ship isn't as thrillingly choreographed as in Captain Phillips. A beautiful moment where Tom Hanks and Somalian actor Barkad Abdi lock eyes through binoculars is still etched in my mind. The tension in Lootere kicks in once the pirates storm the ship and start rounding up the crew. The captain, Alaska Singh Kapoor, is Indian, so are most of the staff. Meanwhile, on land, a complex game of negotiations, deceit, and back-channel diplomacy is waged. A key stakeholder is Ajay Kotwal, Chandan Roy Sanyal, a Sybaritic shipping magnate in Kiev, who is Vikrant's partner in crime. Delhi exerts a peripheral, shadowy presence with a customary acknowledgement of Indian soft power in Africa. Bad Indian, a pirate scoffs, when Singh confesses he isn't acquainted with Akshay Kumar. Barring a few episodes in the second season of Sacred Games, 2019, Lootere is the first major Hindi streaming show set predominantly in Africa. The series was shot during the pandemic, with South Africa substituting for Somalia. Al-Shabaab, the East African militant group involved in the ongoing Somali civil war, is fictionalized here as Al-Muharib. At one point, we visit a pirate training camp, with destitute young children enlisted in dangerous maritime adventures. It's shot with a curious Nat Geo detachment, summarizing a nation riven by drugs, desperation, and decades of civic strife. There are quirks in the writing that pay eventual dividends. Before the pirates embark on their mission, they are warned by their handlers not to kill any crew. Our awareness of this precondition only heightens tension on both sides. Jai, making his standalone directorial debut, shows promise as an action filmmaker, shooting convincingly scrappy skirmishes and near escapes in confined spaces. The series has a tendency towards graphic brutality for shock. Bleeding noses, severed limbs, a head popped open over lunch, which feels both desperate and a little surprising, given Meta's relative control over the material. It's frankly absurd to hear the Somalis converse with each other exclusively in English, though linguistically, the Indians aren't any better off. Vikrant and Ajay have pretty much the same style of speech, peppered with desi expletives, even though one grew up in Africa and the other is a resident of Ukraine. Gomber, known for subtle performances in films like Court and Sir, is made to play broad and boisterous, a chain-smoking brute in pinstripe suits, sounding painfully incongruous dispensing action movie patter. It is a weird mismatch, since every time Vikrant is with his family, he lapses into Gomber's soft-toned, ordinary Hindi. Rajat Kapoor is characteristically measured and involving as the beleaguered captain, though I wish there was more of him, and more often. This is where the density and sprawl of Lootere start to work against it. Its steadily inflating scope and diverging plot lines give us little to hang on to. Despite the vast dramatis personae of the show, the most fascinating characters are on the ship, including Barkad, the tough yet honorable leader of the pirates. A former militant, Barkad has traded the tumult of his broken land for the choppy familiarity of its open seas. Vikrant mentions seeking one's fortune in the Gulf of Eden. Barkad is halfway there,